I'm gonna share step by step how a Westerner like you can move to Thailand safely, legally, practically, and realistically without burning through your savings or getting stuck on the wrong visa. This isn't a video you want to skip. It's not a video selling you a dream that's based on fantasy. No, we're gonna talk about a realistic, practical roadmap that will have you living the life that so many people are talking about today. And if you stick with me till the middle of the video, I'm gonna explain how you can get free accommodation so that you can test out life here in Thailand first. And after that, I'll share common mistakes that many people make that have them financially stressed, mentally depressed, or even kicked out of the country. Let's go. Who is this for? This is for anyone that's from the West, places like the UK or the USA, and you're tired of life where you are now. You want better, and you know there's better out there for you. It could be that you're tired of the cost of living, you're tired of the hustle and bustle, or you're tired of the system stressing you. Or maybe you just want a change. You want more positivity or peace, or you want to be in a place where people are more pleasant. And it isn't for those just looking for a long vacation. Yes, it is a great holiday destination, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about starting a new adventure in a new environment, having a new chapter. So if that sounds like you, let's talk about how we can get this started. All right, so step one is choose the right city. This is more powerful than you know. Now for me, I've been abroad for 2 years now. That's when I left the UK, and Thailand has been my main base since then. Now since being here, I've been healthier, happier, more productive, more focused, and my business has improved. So, for example, I'm a writer and I'm an author because I'm a spiritual polarity coach. And in that time, I've completed one of my book series, so I'm making a lot of progress here. But I think actually a lot of that success has come down to the fact that I've chosen the right place for me. That's what's helped change the trajectory of my life in a positive way. So I looked at what's for me, and I went to the right place. You have to do research on the different places here so you know what's for you. A lot of the time when people say that they're coming to Thailand, what they actually mean is I'm coming to Bangkok. But Bangkok doesn't represent the whole of Thailand. There's so many different places from the north, down south and central parts of Thailand. And each city is so vastly different, and it's gonna suit different personality types. For example, if I was to go to Bangkok, I wouldn't enjoy it as much because that's not really for me. I wanted something that represented more peace, more tranquility, and a beach town offers that. So if I stayed in Bangkok and didn't like it, I would say, oh, I don't like living in Thailand, but that's not actually the case. It's just that I don't like living in Bangkok because it represents the places that I'm trying to get away from. So you need to think about what you're trying to get away from and what you're trying to head towards too. And that will help you find the right place for you. All right, so step two is know your intention. After you figure out where you're going, you have to figure out why you're going. So for me, for example, I wanted to get away from busy city life. I wanted to reduce stress. I wanted to be in a place that felt friendlier, and I feel like I found that. Also, for me as a polarity coach and someone who appreciates the traditional aspect of teamwork between men and women, I also wanted to be in a place that leaves behind the battle mindset that so many people have in the West in terms of men and women always beefing each other. So you need to figure out what works for you, and then you can tailor your literal experience around that. And that's what's gonna make you happier when you come here. If you don't have your intention set, Thailand can become confusing. But if you come with clarity, it's gonna be empowering. Now, we're gonna discuss pricing and the cost of living and accommodation in a bit. But first, we have to talk about another point that is just as important as that. So now we come to step three. Step three is how will you make money? This can be broken down to what job will you do, what work will you do, or how will you sustain yourself? I've seen so many people come here with no plan and they just hope for the best. But that's a disaster waiting to happen. There are people who have come here and have turned from backpacker to begpacker. This is no joke, by the way. There are some people who have to go home early with nothing to show for it, but nobody wants that. Being here should elevate you. It shouldn't stagnate you or disempower you. You should come here and be better off because of it. If you don't elevate, you're doing it wrong. If you think I'm wrong, immigration agrees with me because they want to know your financial situation before you apply for a visa. So for example, if you want a long-term visa, they want to know how much money you're making and how much money you're bringing in. They want to know you're able to sustain yourself. And this even counts sometimes with the short-term visas and the tourist visas too. I've heard of some people getting checked to see if they have at least 20,000 Thai baht in their account before coming in. But when it comes to work and being here long-term, you have a few options, right? You can have local employment, and this involves getting a work permit. I know a lot of people do teaching jobs and so on when they come to Asia. Or it also could be an online income, and that could be broken down to working for a remote company. So you're working for a company that allows you to work outside of where the company is situated, or you could be self-employed and, you know, make money yourself. So this could involve content creation, trading, being a freelancer, and so on. Then I also see people working on savings or social security, pension, retirement fund, and so on, but that requires massive planning. And as long as you're planning, actually it's okay. Just don't come here without a plan. And also plan from now, you know? I always say to people, you don't need to move here in 3 months, 6 months, and then get discouraged by the fact that you can't do that. It's okay to start the plan where you are now, and 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead, maybe even 4 years ahead, you have that foundation for your financials so that when you come here, you don't have to leave because you've run out of money. Don't think that you have to rush here and have fear of missing out because you've seen these videos of people living in Thailand and so on. Like, just be patient. So even if it takes you 1 year, 2, 3, 4, or 5 years to get that foundation set, it's okay. Because in the meantime, you can visit the country. And remember, I'm gonna show you a way that you can stay here for free so that you can get to see the Thai lifestyle. Step 4 are the visas. And we need to be very careful here. People don't think this is a major thing, but it really is, because it's gonna define whether you can stay here or not. It's probably the most important one. And Thailand is getting more strict with their visa enforcement, so it's especially important now. What people used to traditionally do is what's called border or visa runs. And that means that you come here on a tourist exemption or tourist visa, which is usually about 60 days you get, and you can extend it so it becomes 90 days. And then people would go to a neighboring country, cross the border, stay for some time, and then just come right back in the country. And if you do that 3 or 4 times in a year, then you've done the whole year. But now, Thailand is not allowing people to do that. They want people to get the proper visa that they need. And they do offer a variety of different options to allow you to stay here long term. So the visa options include tourist visa. This allows you to come to the country for 30 to 60 days, as I said, but you can extend it to 90 days. And we're going to talk about how you can use this to start your journey. Next, you have the DTV visa, which actually is a 5-year special tourist visa, I guess you could say, which allows you to stay in the country 6 months at a time. And it's useful for content creators, people who want to do Muay Thai, learn cooking classes like Thai cooking and so on. But then you have non-immigrant visas like education visa, where you get to study Thai for an entire year and you get the long-term stay that way. You have work permit visas, so if you get local employment, you'll be able to stay on a work visa. You have marriage visas, and then you also have retirement visas and so on. What I recommend people doing is getting the right visa, because people have been getting denied entry and kicked out of the country. Now, you do not want this, trust me. It's going to be very stressful if this happens to you. And what you can do is you come here first on a tourist visa so that you can test out the country. I don't think you need to get a long-term visa before you come, especially if you don't know if you'll like it. Just because other people love it here, you know, like me, and love it here, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the same. Don't feel like you have to get a long-term visa before you come. No, test out the life first. All right, so as I said, the smartest move that you can make is to come here first and test out the life before you fully commit. Now, this is where a service like Trusted House Sitters comes in. This is something I've been using to save literally thousands of dollars, and I've stayed in multiple countries with this around the world. So I'm gonna tell you how it works. So it's what the name exactly says. You're going to be a house sitter. So that means you're literally gonna watch someone's accommodation for them, keep them updated daily. You're gonna either watch just the house, or it could be plants that you have to monitor. You could have to watch their pets, and all you have to do is update them every day. And in return, you get free access to that accommodation. So I've used this to stay in villas in Dubai, apartments in Malaysia for weeks on end. And when you calculate all of the savings that I've made, it's been thousands of dollars. I couldn't have done this without this service. And no, this is not a sponsored ad. The only thing you have to do is to pay annual membership, but the cost of the membership is less than the cost of one night stay at the average Airbnb that you're gonna go for. So it makes it a no-brainer, in my opinion. If you sign up through my referral link down below, you'll get 20% off, making it even more valuable for money, and you'll get to stay in Thailand. See you when you get here. Thank me later. But of course, when it comes time to spend that money, you're gonna do it on accommodation, which brings us to our next step. Step 5 is looking for the right accommodation. Now, you wanna rent rather than buy in, maybe unless you're loaded, but even then still, you wanna come experience it for short term. Now, what's great about Thailand is that it offers such a wide range that's gonna suit so many different personality types. For example, we have luxury condos, we have humble apartments, we have townhouses, modern villas, and so on. You just gotta look and find what's best for you. Now, what really blew my mind is how fast and flexible it is to find a place and move in. When I came here and I viewed a place, I literally just didn't leave. Like, that's literally normal here. I've never encountered something so convenient, easy, and quick. But at the same time, don't be pulled into the quickness too much by spending money before you get here. Make sure you always view the property. One, so that you know what you're getting. If you look at pictures that you think are beautiful, realize those pictures could have been taken 5 years ago. It might not be the same condition now. And then the other thing is, you don't want to send money to real estate agents where you haven't met them in person, you haven't seen the property in person. That's a nightmare situation, and I've heard people getting scammed because of it. You know, until you build up a relationship with your real estate agent and you trust them, then you can do that. For example, with my agent, I can send deposits to her when I'm out of the country, but I never did that the first time that I was here. I knew that I had to see the apartment first. So yes, make sure you come, view, check it out. I'm sure there'll be something that you like, because the options here are pretty cool. All right, so step 6 is preparing to be able to ride and drive safely and legally. Now, the main and most common and famous mode of transport here in Thailand is motorbikes. And renting motorbikes and cars, super easy. Just as easy as accommodation. But I think what's missing for a lot of foreigners when they come here is the legal part and the safe part. So safety part, as you can see, I take this seriously. I got my gear, my jacket. You don't need all of that for scooters. Most people are gonna be riding scooters. I'm riding the big boys. The only thing you need to make sure that you do have is a helmet. This is the most important thing. And sometimes you will see people riding without no helmet here and so on, but usually it's not a good idea for a foreigner to do that, because you're more likely to be stopped and fined. Now, just today actually, right before making this video, I got stopped at one of the police checkpoints and they wanted to check my license. I got stopped at the checkpoint and I saw them pulling over foreigners. He came up to me, he asked me, show me your license. That's why it's important, because they will do stops and checks. And we're going to talk about one of the misconceptions that people have about the licenses. So you need a bike license that's valid in Thailand. but you can, and I recommend you get a license in your home country. So it's not getting a home country license for a car, it's getting a license for a bike. And this is what people get confused. They get a car license and they get the international driver's permit. You need to remember this. It's called IDP for short. And the IDP isn't a license. It's basically just a document that certifies whatever you're valid to drive for on your license in another country. So if you have a car license and you have IDP, it certifies you to ride the car in Thailand. People get confused and think that getting an IDP means that you can just ride a bike, but it's not true. What you have to do is do the test in your home country so that you get a bike license, and then you get an international driver's permit to validate that license in Thailand. So when they check you, you're gonna be all good. The other thing that you can do if you don't want to get a license in your home country is what I did. I got a Thai license. So I learned to ride here actually and got an instructor. Then I went to the test school. I passed the test and then I got given a Thai riding license, which was much better because as soon as I showed the police my riding license here, everything is all good. If you rent a bike, you don't need to get insurance because it's included, but if you buy a bike, you will need to get the insurance. It's called Por, and you will need to sort that out yourself. But you also should be traveling with travel insurance or health insurance, so make sure you look into that too. I use a company called Safety Wing, which is specialized insurance for nomads such as me and yourself. So if you want to check that out, make sure you go to the link in bio, and I'm sure we're gonna get something off. If you use my referral link, I can recommend them. I've never had any problems, and I feel much more comfortable knowing I have good insurance. And the last thing is, don't rush into riding. Don't just think you can get on this bike and you're already going to know how to do it. So many people think that riding a motorbike or a scooter is the same thing as riding a bicycle. It's not. You're not gonna just jump on and know. You are going to need to take lessons. Don't rush because your life is not worth it. I've seen so many foreigners literally have their skins off because they got into an accident because they just assumed it was going to be easier. The locals have been doing this stuff since they are kids. You will see 12-year-olds on bikes, but that's not you and me. We have to learn. So make sure you ride legally and safely. All right, so another important step on your journey of moving to Thailand and preparing yourself is handling your finances and tax planning. So let's start with this. It makes sense from now, before you come, to sort your bank account out. And that includes getting a multi-currency bank account and applying from the country you're in, because it's going to be a lot easier compared to if you do it later on where you don't have access to your address and so on. There are 2 companies that you can join or get a bank account with. The main one is going to be Wise. I think that covers America and the UK and other European countries and so on. But if you're UK based, a company like Revolut might do you well. But personally, I think that Wise is the better option, even when it comes to sending money back and forth to other Thai accounts, although you do incur a fee, but it is easier compared to Revolut. Another thing to note and prepare for is taxes and tax planning. So for example, generally, if you're over a certain amount of days in Thailand, you can be considered a tax resident. But you have to make sure you research the country you're coming from and the tax laws there, but also the double taxation agreement that your country has with Thailand. So I know with the UK, if you get taxed in, for example, Thailand, the UK is not going to tax you again, but that doesn't count for all countries. So make sure you do your research on that, and even just book a call with a tax accountant. With Thailand, it's hard to give concrete advice sometimes because they change the law so much. Go deeper into it through research or comment down below, the word taxes or something. We'll go in further detail on another video. Now, let's go to the next step. All right, so the next point is you have to be involved in the culture. Get involved. You came to Thailand not to act how you was in the country you're coming from. You came to Thailand to be involved in the Thai culture. So make sure you come to the market. Make sure you wear the clothes, try the food, speak to the people, get involved. Don't come here with the mindset of doing the same thing over. It's a new challenge. It's a new experience. That's a part of the whole journey. All right, so the next step following on from being immersed in the culture is to make sure that you learn the language. Now, this is more important than you think because it's really going to define the depth of experience that you have here in Thailand. So as you see here, I'm doing my studies, right? And I've been learning and I can already communicate the basics. I can't have a proper conversation, I would say, but I at least can go to the store. I can order food. I can say how spicy I want it. So I say that because people think they need to be fluent. You don't need to be fluent. You just need to know enough. You need to know a little bit. You just need to know the basics, survival. And you're gonna realize that when you can communicate the basics, even though it's a little bit of work, it has a big payoff. It doesn't take that long. So make sure if you're coming to Thailand and you intend to stay for a long time, you learn Thai. The last step is mental preparation. It seems small, but it's quite big, and I wish someone would have told me these things. Living abroad is not just all sunshine and rainbows. It's not always going to be sweet. It's not always going to feel good. At some points, you are going to feel maybe even a little bit depressed. You might feel isolated because of the culture shocks and getting used to the food, and you're going to miss your family and your friends, and you have to adjust to a new way of life. And if you keep traveling, it can feel quite uncomfortable and unsettling. These are the things that people don't talk about. So you want to be mentally prepared, right? Don't just expect it to be all good, and then when you come here and it's not all good, you want to run and leave or go away. The journey doesn't stop there. But what I will say is that for the first week or first month or first moments that you're here, make sure to enjoy it. I'll never forget the first week that I came to Thailand. I'll never forget the first day and those first experiences that I was having. A little bit of that new sensation is kind of gone, but I try to have new adventures every day to keep it there. But nothing really replaces when you first get here and you're just feeling the difference. You're feeling the difference in vibe and the people and so on. So make sure that when you do get here, you enjoy every bit of it. Don't be too much in your head, be in the experience, and be okay making mistakes. Starting a new life in Thailand might be one of the best decisions you ever make. Living abroad isn't easy, but it definitely is worth it in the end. And I hope I've helped to make it more easy for you by helping you to prepare for what's ahead if you decide to make that move, come here. There's a reason you're on this video. There's a reason why it's been popping up on your algorithm. There's a reason why. And I'll never forget when it first came up for me, I went down that rabbit hole and it led me to this life, and I can definitely say it's worth it. If you want to check out more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. Check out the other videos on why you should move if you're not convinced. Check out some of the street interviews that I've recorded and released on this channel too. So subscribe, and hopefully maybe I'll see you here.